Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time I'm going to be feeding a fire legendary that I recently obtained from a mini progression event called the Mana Bird Island. This is Belbreath, and Belbreath showed up with lots of open ruin slots. So Belbreath is a legendary, Belbreath is fire, Belbreath is very into spirituality, has wings, and of course is in a temporary book. Alright, so I hear that Belbreath is very fast and is actually a support creature that does extra turning. It sounds really interesting. So let's find a home for her. And yes, it is a her. I'm actually going to put her up here, so that way we can spread the money out a little bit. Okay, did she like call on her little sister or something like that? I'm interested to see what happened there. Okay, so there she is right there. This is Gabby. No, this is not. We'll find a nice name for her. Alright, this is Belbreath. She is a legendary. She has a trait. She is tough. She has a 35% chance to resist nasty status effects. She also has a status caster for self-anticipation. So for the first couple of rounds, she will be able to anticipate and jump in front of any extra turners who attempt to do anything to our party. Alright, let's check out the stats. Strength isn't really too good there. I mean, it's okay, that kind of thing. Life is actually pretty meaty. That might be the best speed that I've ever seen from a starting creature. That's really fast. That's one of the things that supposedly she is. She's very fast. So, and she is support, so the strength thing, it's not that big of a deal. That's kind of not what she does. But she's kind of tanky there with the life, so she has some good stats here. Very interested to see the skills that she's going to have. So why don't we start? Let's look at the initial skills. Alright, we have Paradise Animal, deals low physical damage to one enemy, and we have Adaptation Pinnacle, deals moderate fire damage to one enemy, and that special skill, which she seemed to call in a friend for. This is Tail Burner, applies fire weakness to all enemies, deals moderate fire damage to all enemies. Okay, well that's not so bad. I mean, she's not really a big damage dealer. Alright. This legendary creature is the star at the Beastarium Exhibition Center. Her unique attributes make her a wonder for both visitors and investigators. However, Belbreath is also a natural fighter, and you can't keep a fighter on an exhibition stand for long. She belongs in the battlefield. Okay, so like that sounds like imprisonment there, so let's hope she gets out. We'll have to feed her first to make sure. Alright, so let's do that. Let's get her up to her final evolution. Okay, there she is. Lovely plumage. But then again, we're here for the skills, aren't we? And those skills begin at level 7. As soon as she comes back, there she is. Alright, so let's get going with the skills, right? Warning shouts. Removes all control status effects from all allies. Applies immunity to control for all allies. Wow, that's actually for support. That's a really good place to start. And it does the entire group. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's continue to level 10. Another skill. Pack Leader. Applies damage boost to all allies. Alright, that's not bad. I'm sure they'll be better, but let's just, again, support. Already we're seeing some pretty good support stuff here in terms of protection and, of course, attack. So let's continue to level 15. Aviary Fur. Removes all negative status effects from one ally, gives extra turn to itself. That's interesting and kind of points to what she is going to be doing. Probably not going to keep that, but I'll just grab it for now. I noticed she's doing no damage at all so far, and it did seem to say that she was a great fighter. I just wanted to point that out. Alright, so let's continue to level 20. Alert the Herd. Deals moderate special damage to one enemy. Blocks 50% of incoming damage. Oh, okay. So the damage protection one. Okay, we'll just throw that in the front for now. Well, she's finally doing damage, isn't she? Alright, so let's continue to level 25. And another skill. Mating Poses. deals heavy fire damage to one enemy, removes all negative status effects from itself, blocks 50% of incoming damage. Well, obviously that's an upgrade, but it is a change in damage type, isn't it? I mean, it's more damage. It does the blocking 50% of incoming damage, but it also removes negative status effects. All right, well, I'm going to put that here. But it changed the type from special damage to fire damage, so it kind of looked like it should have been in the same line. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's continue to level 30. Flying Disruptor removes positive status effects from one enemy, gives one extra turn to itself. I can see that her final spec is going to be a little bit difficult. All right, I'm going to put that there for now. Don't know if I'm going to keep it, but, you know, the thing about it is if it was removing it from everybody on the other side, it would be a no-brainer. But, all right, let's continue to level 35. Butterfly Feathers blocks all damage except for water element from all allies. Okay, so in other words, she throws up a shield to protect her team from all damage except for water damage. That's interesting. That's the kind of thing you want to keep. See, I don't know about getting rid of that one. That one seems good. All right, I'm going to throw it up here because, like I said, we have a better version of that. I mean, we only have one attack at this point. But then again, she is a support creature, right? All right, so let's continue. I can see getting her final skills is going to be a little tricky. Meta Bird. Allies block 50% of incoming damage, applies damage boost to all allies, gives one extra turn to itself. Okay, well, obviously that's something you're going to have to keep, I think. And gives an extra turn. I'm going to throw that there for now. I am really going to have to... working out her final spec is going to be tricky. All right, let's continue. We should have at least one more. So let's see what we get here. Alert the Herd. Oh, we just got that one before, right? Yeah, that's that one I just got rid of a moment ago. All right, let's continue. And Unstoppable Migration. Deals moderate fire damage to one enemy. Applies immunity control to all allies. All right, now do we need this one anymore? If you give immunity to control, you're going to be removing the effects. That's my understanding of it. And they're both 0 cooldowns, and this one, the attack actually has less stamina usage. So, all right, I'm going to take that one. That is probably it, but let's just check it out anyway. Yeah, finding the spec here is going to be a little bit tricky. Alert the Herd. Yeah, that one there. We keep seeing that one. And finally... Flying Disruptor. All right. I'm pretty sure we've seen everything, but I also want to arrange the skills here because it's interesting what we want to actually keep. First of all, let's just make sure that I got everything. Okay, Flying Disruptor, Alert the Herd. We kept seeing those. Aviary Refer. Removes negative status effects from one ally and gives an extra turn. See, I don't know if you could tie up a spot for that. I mean, that's good, but can you tie up a spot for that? This one, I don't think I need this one because of this one. This one gives the immunity to control. It gives it for the same amount of time. Now, if you give somebody immunity to control and they're already controlled, is it going to remove it? You know, the one on the left here specifically states that it removes control effects and then puts immunity to control. I think if you put immunity to control, it should remove the effects. But the fact that it specifically states that means it may not happen. That is going to be tricky to test, though. I would actually have to have somebody do something to one of my team members in order to test it. All right, well, it's something to look out for. I'll have to, look for encounters where there's stunning or freezing or something like that so I can see whether or not that's going to happen or not. I think for the purpose of testing, I'm going to stick with mating poses. The reason is that I think that Flying Disruptor would be something more for war or PvP fighting. In terms of fighting on the adventure map, I don't think it's as useful because, let's face it, the creatures on the adventure map don't usually have their best skills. They have the lower skills. So I think in the end, I might end up taking this one. We're going to have to see about that. But in terms of support, I think that Flying Disruptor is probably a better idea. But in the purpose for testing, I think I'm going to stick with mating poses. All right, so let's take a look at her final stats here at level 60. Okay, strength, yeah, the strength isn't really too terrific, but then again, that's not what she does. Life is very good. Speed is really good. Very, very good speed there. I'm not sure, but that might be the best that I've seen. I think it's better than Psycha, frankly, and she was faster than Demise. So I'm not sure if... Definitely the fastest fire one. I think I'm pretty much safe saying that. This is obviously a support creature, has a lot of good support stuff. Choosing of skills for this individual is very tricky, but this is what I'm going with for now. All right, let's start up here. Butterfly Feathers blocks all damage except from the water element for all allies. One thing to keep in mind for this monster is it does have a status cast for anticipation for itself. If you have a situation where an extra turner is going to go, she's going to jump out ahead. Now, if it's something that's going to do a lot of damage, then she can do this and block all damage except for water. So if you have a Prince Charmless or you have a Voltec or something that does extra turn stuff, then she can jump out ahead and she can block all damage. This is very good. This is very good indeed. This could really do some serious protection for the party. All right, next up we have this one. Mating Poses. Deals heavy fire damage to one enemy, removes all negative status effects from itself, blocks 50% of incoming damage. Now this I might very well get rid of. The reason I would get rid of this is that it is only one of two attacks, and it is the big damage attack. But that's not why she's there. She's not a damage dealer, and there is repetition here. In terms of the blocking 50% of incoming damage, she does that in another skill. A better skill. A skill that has got a lot of stuff in there too. And an extra turn. So the thing is, it's a lot easier to get that one off and then move on to something else. So I might end up getting rid of this one because there's another skill I think would end up being more useful in wars and PvP. In the adventure map, I don't think so. So I'm just going to hold on to this one for now. Anyway, this is good. It's just that a lot of stuff she has is actually better in terms of what her function is supposed to be. All right, then we have this one. Unstoppable Migration. Deals moderate fire damage to one enemy and applies immunity to control for all allies. All right, so this is a great skill. Right, not for the damage. The fact that it gives immunity to control to all allies, and it's a 0 cooldown. The immunity control is going to last for 2 rounds, and she can do this every round, so she can make her team immune to control. This would be very good for getting out in front of the denial on the other side and just making your team immune to it. So this is like denying the denial. A very, very useful one, especially considering her speed. You could probably get her up to go really fast and jump out in front of any denial and take care of anything. Now, there are certain situations where she's not going to be able to help. If you see somebody on the other side of the battlefield who's going to take stamina away, like a General Thetis, someone who's going to set the cooldowns for your team's skills, like a Alkanine or a Patient Cyber or something like that, well, that's not going to help. But if you see somebody who's going to stun, freeze, or possess, she can make your team immune to that. So that will be very useful. It really depends upon what you see on the other side, right? If you see something you can control, you can protect your team from, then absolutely, this is a great skill. Very good skill. And it does give her an attack every round, even though you're not going to put damage on her or anything like that. And then we have this one, Mana Bird. Allies block 50% of incoming damage, and then it also applies a damage boost to all allies, and then gives it an extra turn. So in other words, you could do this one, put the damage block on, put the damage boost on, and then go and do something else. So that's pretty darn useful right there. It's like a throw in there. You know, you could do this and then move on to whatever else you're going to do. So you could start the fight that way as well. I mean, if you were going to like, okay, I'm going first, I'm going to protect my team from control effects. But first, why don't I just do this? The protection is going to last for 2 turns. The damage boost is going to last for 3 turns. And then you can just go over here and do this and then protect them. And then your team is going to get a chance to go and they'll have a damage boost on them. So you could do that. You could do that if you wanted to. So that's a really good skill right there. Very, very useful. She's got some great support skills here. Not a lot of damage, like I said, but then again, that's not what she's all about. She's about speed, getting out there, protecting your team, and enhancing them. right? So good stuff there. Very, very good stuff there. In terms of, now I got very lucky in terms of runes. I got all 3 open, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, speed, obviously. The idea is you want her to get out ahead of the other team and to protect your team against control effects. That's her first and foremost thing. So she's going to be protection against denial. Again, you have to choose your enemies carefully because there are some forms of denial she can't really help you against. But there are things that she can, stunning, freezing, the common ones. Possession also. And of course, her protection against possession will be all forms of possession because it's all forms of control. So that's very, very, she's very good. I can't wait to start playing around with her. That would be very good. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to simulate in the adventure map. I mean, this is somebody who you really want to throw into real battles. And that will be very interesting for the future. Anyway, this is Belbreath. She is outstanding. Outstanding and very fast, too. I mean, you put a bunch of speed on her, and she is really going to be fast. I'm probably going to have her in the next testing team, but I do have another individual that I want to add to that team tomorrow. Yeah, I'm kind of like pushing others out because there are certain individuals I do want to have available. Anyway, this is Belbreath. She's amazing, and hopefully we'll be testing with her very soon. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See you.